Hey there, here are content warnings. Please enjoy, or be careful. Whichever. As I watched him lower the coffin deep into the earth, I was finally hit with the reality of it all. My father is dead. He was the last remaining member of my immediate family. Now it's just me. Some part of my heart feels a small pang as the reality of my loneliness creeps in. Excuse me. The funeral director hands me a shovel, breaking me out of my thoughts. I shovel a pile of dirt, tossing it into the seemingly endless pit. Dirt splattering against the wood is a noise I would never forget. Bye, Dad. I stand, staring at the trees in the distance. They ebb and shake with a gentle wind. It felt in direct contrast of the mood that overtakes me. Hey there! Who in the world? Are you high? My half-brother Landon throws an arm up in the air, giving a lazy wave. Landon wears a suit jacket with a graphic tee underneath. Eyeing up the shirt, bro? He gives a laugh, clearly pleased with himself. It's a new line for my podcast merch. Pretty sick, right? Yeah, pretty sick. The fact that it didn't even register in my head that I was supposed to look at his shirt tells you a lot. It's pretty mid, my guy. He looks around, half distracted. I thought there would be more important people at this thing, you know? Why would you think that? Your dad was a pretty savvy businessman. I was hoping to get in some last connections. I can't get myself to say anything. Well, apparently I was right to feel disappointed in this lad. And I'm sure any chastising will be lost on someone like Landon either way. Wake up and grind, baby. You know how it is. Chasing the dream never stops. Sure? My dad just died, my dude. You don't have to act this way. What is wrong with you? Anyways, I'ma head out soon. Gotta go check out that new juice bar joint down the street and see if they want to sponsor the cast. Before you go, do you know where the rest of the family is? Oh yeah, they couldn't make it. Why not? First class seats on yesterday's flight were sold out, so they decided to fly in this morning. You know, old Mavi won't fly in economy. He shrugs non-committally. They'll be there tomorrow, though. What's happening tomorrow? Landon clams up. Oh, I gotta go. Juice bar's gonna close soon. Sorry, bro. At 4 p.m.? Yeah. Bye, Landon. Landon leaves, and in the distance, I spot a man leaning against a tree. He holds a small notebook that he writes in. He pauses as we make eye contact. Something about the way he stares at me makes me feel like I need to take a shower. But the man himself is peculiar. He has that air about him. A charisma that made him seem like he could fit into any room he walked into. The man shoots a finger gun, smiling wide, impossibly white teeth glaring in the sun. There was no sense of true friendliness to it. I shoot him back a finger gun awkwardly. Some people at the funeral glance at me disapprovingly. Me! He started it! Also, did you not hear any of the BS Landon was going off on? Like, Jesus Christ, how am I the bad guy here? I look back to the man and he is already gone. I holster my finger gun clumsily. I head to the office, sighing deeply. I can't believe I had to call the office myself to find out that there was a will reading happening today. What executor just forgets to call a child of the deceased? I steel myself, approaching the front doors to the law office. It seems like no amount of dread will get me out of this. Talking about my dead father's will with a bunch of family I haven't seen since I was a kid isn't necessarily my definition of a good time. More like the source of my anxiety for the last 24 hours. I take a deep breath and walk into the office. A man heading into the opposite direction bumps into me, making me stumble. You weirdo! What are you doing here? He grasps my shoulder, steadying me. Whoa, watch out there, Hellcat. I get a good look at the man. His blue suit is slightly too big and definitely not ironed. He spots a fake tan and teeth whiter than paper. His smell can only be described by equal amounts of cheap cologne and body odor that somehow cancels each other out. All in all, he looks like he fell asleep on a beach outside of a business convention. He pauses for a second, his face shifting into a shocked expression, as if he just recognized me. Oh, you're Lloyd's kid, huh? What was your name again? My name is Lion. Of course, Lion. The stranger looks me up and down. Well, aren't you a dashing young... He pauses, blank face, as if he could construe my gender. Non-binary, like, if that's not obvious. But then again, like, you look old enough to not completely get that. Of course! You're my first they-thems, and I gotta tell you, I'm impressed. I get that it was intended to be a compliment, but I honestly just don't like responding to it. An uncomfortable silence settles between us. Man, I heard about your father. I sure would want to go out that way. He died in his sleep? Yeah. I know how I want to go out. The stranger becomes expressionless, staring off into space. Not sure how I'd be able to arrange that, though. He smiles at me, wide and meaningful. Your father was the face of the industry. Not sure how we will carry on without him. What industry was that again? I can't do you really want to give me this power? Do you really want to give me the power to name what sort of industry my father was into? Because I'll have you know, I have no idea, okay? Like, I'm stalling here. I'm stalling here trying to think about what industry is probably in the coom industry. Oh my god, my father was in the coom industry. He worked in the coom industry. Ah, yes, he was so influential in the coom space. I've read so many articles about how he truly changed how the whole thing goes. An honest mover and shaker of this generation, wouldn't you say? I suppose so. I mean, like, yeah, he was the greatest coomer of all time. He spent so much time working, that old boy Lloyd. Oh yeah, like, he gotta get his coom hours in. I guess that didn't leave a lot of time for his favorite hobby, which was cooming. Oh my god, he makes work with passion. That's all I can say about it. This is fictional, okay? Like, I actually have a lot of respect for my own dad. But in his fictional universe, okay, like, he mixes like work with pleasure. Of course, he was one of the best at combing. He made us youngins look so bad when he got in that combing flow. Help! I remember trying to keep up with him. Lost because I am right. I nod slowly. Maybe I'm being judgmental, but the man in front of me doesn't seem to be the type to be interested in combing. Are you telling me he got combed for the life of him? Are you telling me that the cheap cologne, like, ruined all the nerve endings there? You're thinking that I don't look like the comic? I'm sorry. I am sorry. I am having a blast with this. I know it's supposed to be horrifying, terrible, awful, but oh god, I am dying. Oh no. I'll have you know, I'm one of the best. All my friends says, boy, no one can coom like you can, Paul. He waves confidently and I resist the urge to physically move away. I glance towards the door. I mean, even I would move away at that point. I will move away from someone who told me that he's the greatest at cooming. What sort of conversation starter is that? I should probably get in there. Of course. So, one quick question. I gotta be honest, I'm a little embarrassed to admit this. I've been meaning to call Lloyd's good friend, but I can't seem to remember his name. Got his number right here. The stranger pats his pocket. But in my grief, his good friend's name happened to slip my mind. You know how it is with grief. The stranger places his hand gently on my shoulder. Maybe in his head, this was a nice moment. But I feel so uncomfortable, especially with how you kept talking to me about how much you love cooming. Dad's best friend. Who was his best friend? Jacob. Wait, yeah, Jacob. His name was Jacob. Oh, old Jacob, our hero. How he took care of your father after your mother passed. Am I right? Sure. The mommy, man, Lloyd, and Jacob got together to do some cooming. Well, my God, they were unstoppable. Oh my God, I didn't need to know what Daddy-O was doing with Jacob. I didn't need to hear about that. Well, it's nice to meet you, Lion. You should probably get in there, huh? Don't want to hold you up any longer. Yeah, thanks, I was about to ask the strange man's name, but it was already through the door. I don't even know your name! Why did you tell me all that? I didn't need to know about how much you love cooming. He looked a little familiar. Maybe he was one of my dad's work friends. I couldn't quite place where I had seen him before. I looked towards the office, no doubt already late for the appointment. I make my short trek up to the heavy doors and open them. Inside are family members I haven't seen for years. Oh my God, this looks awful. I walk into the room of family that were more like strangers to me. Their talking quieted down as they looked at me, strained expressions plastered on some of their faces. Should I hug them or should I sit down? Don't give me a chance here! Even Landon only glances up at me for a second, resuming his attention to the smartwatch on his left hand. Oh, hello. Take a seat. I chicken out of the hug, quickly shrinking to my seat. Well, I guess we don't exist then. I open my mouth to reply, but nothing comes out. Well, now that everyone's here, I suppose we can get started. And the stranger from before walks in. Hey, you folks, so sorry I'm late. You know how traffic is. He moves around the room to excited faces, hugging each of them warmly and tussling Hunter's hair playfully. Aunt Lissa, you've become more stunning each time I see you. You don't look a single day over 20. And my little man, Lunter, he's gotta be a real lady killer in the first grade. Lissa giggles and covers her face, her posture leaning towards the stranger happily. I look incredulously at the stranger. Landon, looking suave as usual, my man. How's that podcast lately? Owning the lips? The hell? The stranger does a very complicated and choreographed handshake with Landon. I can't help but to cringe just a little. I'm cringing a lot. Miss Mama, you know, I truly thought of you the other day when I saw this, and I just had to get this for you. The stranger pulls out a box wrapped with satin ribbon and presents it to Grandma Mauve. She opens it and pulls out a small porcelain angel. Oh, wow. She gasped in delight at the delicate trinket. Would you look at that? Now there are two angels in the room. Mauve's usually stony face cracks for a second before returning to its permanent sneer. She waves her hand at the stranger dismissively. Oh, you. Oh, stop it. The stranger slyly winks at me, a wide, confident smirk on his face. He then approaches the empty seat beside me. The stranger slumps into the seat, tugging at his cheap, slightly too large suit jacket in a hopeless attempt to straighten it out. He then turns to me. And who might you be? I'm Lion. The stranger's jaw falls, his eyes go wide. His expression then shifts as he bellows out a large laugh, turning to my relatives. Oh, you pranksters! You know it's not April 1st, right? Who set this up? Was it you, Landon? You always know how to get that good podcast content. My relatives sit confused. They look at each other, determining by facial expression that no one amongst them has an answer. Sorry, dear. What do you mean? Well, somebody here obviously hired this person to impersonate me. He chuckles, shaking his head. It was a pretty good prank, I won't lie. But now we should get down to business, alright? You are dismissed. What? 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 What is going on? I think there's a misunderstanding. Who are you? I'm... Lion. I stare, fully confused. Ah, of course, I thought that was you. Are you guys blind? You've grown so much. What are you talking about? I'm Lion. Like, honestly, you look nothing like me. Like, goddamn, the fake tan, the wet-ass teeth, the suit. I don't wear a suit. Like, I barely wear one. And who wears a goddamn tie? Like, for real. And goddamn, you look like, God, you look like the scummiest corpo I've seen in my life. We just met in the hallway. You said you knew my dad. They let out a chuckle. I think you're talking about my dad. I let out a sigh of frustration. Okay, this is ridiculous. I can't believe I have to do this. I go to grab my wallet out of my pocket and it feels empty. My keys and phone are also Am I going to need to punch this dude? I will gladly do it. I will gladly cause a scene in the lawyer's office. I won't mind going to jail again. If I get to mess up his... I can't even call it a pretty face. Like, goddamn, if I were to, like, bash your face in, like, it will be an improvement on your features. What? My family members look confused. What should I do? Accuse the stranger of stealing my wallet, assess the situation. Ask Landon to vouch for me. I'll assess the situation. I pause to assess the situation. The stranger smirks at me. Such a punchable face. Exactly. Maybe I left my wallet in the car. They may have stolen it when they bumped into me earlier. If that is the case, there isn't much I can do. Checking my car is the best bet. I'll be right back. I jump out of the room and dash for my car. Right as I'm about to leave the building, something catches my eye. I spot my wallet splayed open on the floor of the lobby, my keys and phone haphazardly next to it. I pick up all my belongings, checking to verify that my ID is in its proper place. I breathe a sigh of relief when I see it. Time to end this. I walk back into the room where everyone is peering over an ID. The stranger's ID. I had my name on it! I place my ID next to it on the table. My family members, aside from Landon, look back and forth between the two IDs, confusion clouding their expression. I sigh, rubbing my temples. Well, I'm sure by the end of the process, we will figure it out. The executive gives a nervous laugh. We can have a family vote. The hell you mean by a family vote? Everyone mumbles in agreement, looking back and forth between us. This really should have been an easy, straightforward process. No, right? But thanks to somebody, it is not going as swimmingly as I had hoped. I won't name names, but I think you all understand what I'm getting at. The stranger looks around the room, making meaningful eye contact with each of my relatives. I groan. This seriously can't be happening. I just think this is very disrespectful of my dead father. May he rest in peace. And I just think that you should reevaluate your priorities to scam these poor souls, my sweet family, and walk away. I am not scamming anyone. You are scamming people. A look of shock stretches the stranger's horrible, faked tan face. I can't believe that you sit here accusing me. That is a crime, you know. My guy, like, it is so easy to clear this up. Like, I am an internet personality. Okay, I have a whole YouTube channel that verifies who I am. You have jack shit. Defamation of character, I believe. My guy, like, I could have you sued for this, I think. I don't know how the law works. Like, I was on the other end of that. Like, I don't know. Executor, please pause this movement and throw that morally bankrupt person out so we good people may conduct our business. The stranger looks around the table passionately. Anyone who is with me, say aye. No. I accidentally raised my voice a tad too high, and the executor jumps. You will not chase me out on my own father's will reading. The stranger ignores me, turning to my grandma instead. Granny, that's why you have to really keep an eye out for these sly foxes. It starts with gift cards, and sooner than you know it, bam, communism. Anyone who knows me knows that this will never be a tangent I would ever go on. Like, come on, my guy, at least try to act a part. Like, honestly, for someone who's trying to take over my identity, you suck, my dude. Grandma Mauve, not solemnly. The hell is wrong with you? Language? Aunt Lissa covers her son's headphoned ears with her palms and shoots a nasty look. Please, Lion, if that even is your real name, there's a small human present, and I wouldn't care! Do us all a favor and skedaddle before Tinta here learns any more of your colorful language. I am not leaving. You will have to drag me out of this room. Well then, if you insist, just try it. I'll make you regret it. And now the threat of violence? When will it end with you? Landon, back me the hell up! The stranger slams their hand on the table in the throes of dramatics. The executor jumps in shock, and his various post-it notes flying everywhere, sticking every which way. Oh, so you should know my face! Like, come on! Like, you would have known me! Come on! Oh no. Like, everyone looks at the executor in quiet shock. Feeling a little bit bad for that mousy man, I help to pick up some of the notes. The notes look like they are different instructions for each situation. The note I pick up was titled Crying About Death. The instruction at the bottom read, Comfort, do not hug or wipe tears. May come off as inappropriate. While handing the post-it notes to the executor, he whispers to me, He told me this would be easy. Who told you? My dad. He left me in charge while he's gone. I can see the sheen of sweat glimmer in the stale overhead light. Oh, this could not get worse. I know it will get worse, but oh my god. He said this would be easy. The executor leans in closely and whispers frantically. But this isn't on the post-it notes. This might be the last chance that Dad gives me. The stranger perked up, somehow picking up parts of the conversation from across the table. My dad, he... The hell are you doing? The stranger scooted their chair across the floor for seemingly no reason. Ah, Dad, so fathers, as I like to call them. Who knows what they want? I do! Dad and I were so close. We did everything together. A lot of times it was just the two of us, unless of course his good dear friend Chekhov was there. Oh my god, are they info dropping what I just told him from before? I have to put a stop to this before it gets any further. Let's see. I should talk about my mother instead. The stranger doesn't know anything about my mother because I never said anything about her. So if I'm able to talk about information they don't have, I should come out looking better in this situation. My mother? The stranger loudly interrupts. Ah, yes, mother! My mother! She was a sweet woman. Even up to her last moment, she was a strong and fearful warrior of God. They shoot a meaningful look towards Mauve and gives a sad prayer hand expression. She was a true hero, saving that child from the car accident. Who knew that there will be a second car? What in the world is happening? Aunt Lissa gasped. What? I feel at a complete loss for words. My mom died of a shellfish allergy. Ah, yes, bad impersonator. It was quite shellfish of that child to get in the car accident that day. I look around the room and everyone is nodding and creep. Like, are you guys seriously buying into this bull? Are you serious? Like, come on. This shows like how awful you guys are as family. Like, god damn. I'm so glad that this will be the last time I see you guys. I don't even care about the inheritance anymore. My mother, God rest her soul, was truly the kindest mom ever. Ah, yes, I remember waking up to the smell of pancakes and syrup in the morning. How is this happening? One thick tear wells up in their eye. To this day, whenever I smell pancakes, I remember vividly my mother's love for me. As tears fall from their eyes, in its place, it sweeps away the tan that was once so permanent. Looks of sympathy are all across the table as the stranger continues to prattle on about their fake mother's good and righteous life. Also, isn't that technically Yellowface? Like, isn't he pulling a racism here? Like, come on. Like, come on. I am clearly Asian, and if he's put on a fake tan, like, I think he's pulling a racism there. Something in me feels like it has lost a battle that should have been an easy victory. The stranger clutches their chest, squeezing their eyes shut. The stranger's voice wavers as they dramatically deliver the next line. May God look upon our poor souls and forgive us for our sins of living. Oh! Atlissa perks up, looking at my other two relatives. What's that? Totally was. Bro, that was a sick impersonation. Landon quickly fiddles with his phone, raising it up in a filming position. Oh man, can you do that again? I gotta get it for the cast. Did you see the newest season? It was just so amazing how they covered the tough topic of family trauma. Really makes you think that when bad times come, who knows you better than your family? Landon nods thoughtfully. As you know, it's unsafe for an alpha male like me to feel vulnerable. Ugh, I'm so glad this is the last time I'll ever meet them. Oh, you'll suck. Alone in my 74th floor condo that day, I was feeling it. Can we get back on topic here, guys? The executor squeaks out nervously. Like literally, name any other show that talk about topics like that. Very brave of them, I'd say. Even Mom has seen it! Am I really that out of the loop? I am. Like, admittedly, I am. I feel a desperation to get on my relative's good side. My father's wealth and legacy is tied up in this, after all. Of course, so brave. That show was, streaming, right? I cringe, expecting the worst. Oh? You've seen it too? The Feet Fanatics go wild whenever we talk about an episode in the Feet Fanatics server. Okay, what is your podcast? Like, come, the Feet Fanatics? You guys are into, I'm not, I'm not gonna shame you. Some people have their kings, but Feet Fanatics? How, why are you running a red-pilled Feet Fanatic server? He leans over to Grandma Mauve. Granny, a server is like MSN, but a blank face drifts across Mauve's face. It's like text messages? The blank look remains on Mauve. Like a pager. Still no dice. Like a telegram? A flash of recognition sweeps Mauve's face. Just how old is this woman? The third episode of the 5th season was so wild. When he found the body of that 7th crime lord and had to investigate, and they introduced Gerald's nephew's best friend's brother, Carl. What is happening? I'm so confused. The show is just so brave for giving us Carl. You know, I feel like I'm not enough of a Karen to be able to do Aunt Lissa's voice, like being for real here. Oh, definitely. Carl really shook the Feet Fanatics, setting them into a debate frenzy. And honestly, I don't know how to pull off the podcast voice at all. Like, I don't know how to sound like one of those dudes who do like a podcast. Like that just ain't me. I can't do that. Who knew with Carl, they will be introducing the first openly gay man to marry a woman on TV. Huh? Seriously, so forward thinking of that. Oh, I never want to be with this family ever again. Lisa nods. Love is love. I see no difference. And then when the creature appeared in the 2nd episode of season 2, that was so mind-blowing. I heard they did it all with AI. Didn't need any artists to make... Oh, you suck, Landon. So creative on them. The future is... Oh, no. Creatures? I thought they were talking about a detective show. Yeah, the creature with the eyes. Love seeing it. The one that the public voted out 3 weeks ago? Landon gives a judgmental side look in Aunt Lissa's direction, who returns it. Are you really 3 weeks behind? Yeah, I got some catching up to do. I laugh nervously, hoping my lies won't get caught. Aunt Lissa looks at me. Who's your favorite character? There is no way this can go worse. Thank God the stranger is here to cut in and make things about themselves again. What was so regularly frustrating is finally a blessing in this situation. I turned to the stranger, expecting them to cut in with their favorite character. They are sweating and pale. The stranger's face is frozen in the same smile as before, but there is pain behind their eyes. I don't think the stranger has seen the show either. They are thrown off. This is my chance to get the upper hand. You know what? Survive together. You know what? I'ma pull him in. Like, you know what? Screw my disdain for you. Like, I'm going to make you owe me. I'm going to make it so they have to beg at my feet for my mercy. So, let's survive together. So at this point, neither of us know what's going on. I feel like working ourselves out of this situation is the best we can do. Whoa, that totally reminds me of this other show. I think it was called The Thing Inside. I look at the stranger and they shake their head slightly, which had quite an interesting story about crime. I give the stranger a meaningful look. Ah, yes, The Thing Inside, was it? Of course I've seen the program. You would have to be absolutely out of touch to not have seen it. It won 4 awards last year. The awardees? The family members look at each other, bolstered by the fact that they don't want to seem out of the loop of pop culture. You think I haven't seen it? Get real, man. I watched every week. Alyssa waits for a positive reaction. Last week's episode was crazy. Who knew Luke would do something so daring? Yeah, Luke was very surprising. Who knew that if you claim to be a church, they can't text you? Unless, of course, they find out that you want a church. For example, if your bitch of a backstabbing ex-wife who lies about her age rats you out to the FBI. The silence drifts across the table. Yeah, that was such a good episode. And it doesn't make you hate the main character too much because it was a victimless crime. Ah, yes, except, of course, all the parishioners that purchased the holy water for $99.99 each. But they never proved that in court, of course. This is starting to sound a bit too specific for my liking. I mean, the episode, of course. The stranger gives a little wink. Can we please get back to business here? The executive's eyes are getting a little watery. His hands holding the will start to shake. I think it's best that we move on. He clears his throat, attempting to emotionally steady himself. I can almost feel the one strand of rope holding him together starting to fray. All of us are silently watching the executor as he desperately breathes quickly. We glance at each other, not really sure what to do. A part of me feels a bit bad for the stress the executor is under. His tears start to fall thick from his face, landing onto the shaking paper and But dude, that's our will! His trembling hands sift through the papers as he attempts to calm himself. Paper after paper being hit with heavy tears, snot bubbling disgracefully. We all watch in silence. The stranger taps their foot impatiently. The executor sobs and sobs. He must have gone through his 12th page at this point. Landon holds his phone vertically towards the executor. Oh, no! The executor exclaims, looking around. Everyone averts their eyes, not wanting to be involved. Even the stranger who was once so approval-hungry. I guess nobody wants to bother with helping this mess. The executor gets more frazzled, dropping more papers at his feet. You know what? I'll help. I'll wait a couple more minutes. Nobody budges. You okay? You need a moment. I use a tone of voice as if I'm talking to a small child. The executor nods, wiping a thick line of snot onto his sleeve. It takes everything in me not to cringe. Oh my god. Oh my god. At this point, I don't mind like teaming up with like my impersonator, like just to get this over with. Like, oh my god. I'm sorry. My dad didn't say all this stuff would be involved. He said I just had to read the will and then everyone will be happy and leave. I can't even do that much right. I was born an only child to 2 loving parents. And they grew surrounded by my father's and mother's love. I didn't realize that the world outside was so cold. Families could only know each other so little that something like this could even happen. So unforgiving to someone like me. Yes, my house was so warm, only full of love and joy. But soon came the day where I finally left for kindergarten. The stranger clears their throat, clearly losing patience. Looks like you dropped that. The executor's eyes glance towards the paper, thrown off from his life story, but clearly not wanting to make an effort to pick up the paper. Let me get that for you. Well, no use crying in spilt milk. I say we just carry forward as all good men do. Am I right, Mr. Executor? The executor nods, sniffling away his final tears. Yes. Let's carry on. He holds up the paper. There are water splotches all over it. Ink streaks and blood stains the sheets. Let's just get started here. Article 3. Pet Care Directives. All references in this will to my pet shall refer to the animals listed below and any other pets or domestic animals of mine that are living at the time of my death. As of the date of this will, my pets are the dog. Oh. The executor holds up the paper, a tear splotch residing where the dog's name should be. Mr. Landon, you wouldn't happen to know your father's dog's name, would you? Huh? Why would I know? Well, you are nominated as the dog's caregiver. Dad has a dog? Yeah, he included a picture here somewhere. The executor pulled out a picture of the dog. That thing is still alive! It looks like it came straight out of The Walking Dead! I thought it died decades ago. I will never forget the stench of that cussed creature. Lion is listed as the nominated caregiver if Landon is unwilling to serve. The executor passes the page to the stranger as I across the table. The stranger is fully checked out at this point, as if not even there. I pick up the paper. The executor looks at me hopefully, passing a pen across the table. Can you write in your father's dog's name? Surely you remember. My family members look at me expectantly, aside from Landon, who scrolls on his phone. Oh my god. Why do I need to name everything? Legit everything. Like, come on. Oh. I might as well mess around with the stranger some more. He's definitely gonna come up with some BS story about my dog. So, my dog's name is, my god, I have no idea. What will be a funny name? I swear to god, my sense of humor is declining, but that's fine. My dad's dog's name is my butt. I pass the paper to the executor. My butt. It's a very apt name for this thing. One more thing about my butt. The executor passes the paper over. I grab it, seeing as the stranger wants nothing to do with it. It seems that the area below was erased as well. I look a bit lower. I give to my caregiver the sum of... I blanch. How is the executor so naive to pass me a blank paycheck? I can write in any amount of money I want. Yeah. Oh, god damn it. I'm just gonna like max this out. I'm just gonna max it out. I've ruined the game! I scroll the amount onto the paper and pass it back to the executor. Alright, let's see. I give to my pet caregiver the sum of... Oh, what have I done? I've ruined the game! Is this right? Everyone looks over in shock. Goodness gracious! That seems like an exorbitant amount. Well, he did love that dog. Oh, you mean that dog? Me and my butt go way back. Been meaning to make a cast with him. Of course I'll take him in, no question. He'll be the best dog dad around. Just call me my butt daddy. The stranger leans forward, life returning to their eyes. I don't know if you have thought this through, Landon. Sweet little my butt needs a lot of special attention and love. I'll surely take him and give him a wonderful life. What happens if I just put 0? What if I don't put any amount in that? Like, I'm just a bit curious about that. I know I'm going to need to restart the whole freaking game, but I don't care. Let's go. All right, I'm just gonna drop in 0 and see where this goes. I scroll the amount onto the paper and pass it back to the executor. All right, let's see. I give to my pet caregiver the sum of $0. That barely covers even one bag of dog food, much less its eczema medication. Well, that is what it says. Maybe Lloyd was getting sick of the thing after all. Yeah, sorry, bro. I run a business podcast and these numbers ain't crunching. I don't do dog content. Lion is on the paper. Give them the dog. They could totally give my butt a good life. Eat all the garbage at once. Maybe get some dental implants. I don't have the room to take care of an animal properly. My butt looks like the perfect companion for you. I look at the stranger meaningfully. Yeah, I don't think Lion can take care of the dog. The stranger's eyes widen in understanding. Ah, yes, I don't believe in confining a dog to a small living space. It should be free to roam amongst other dogs in nature. Not to be tied down by human ego and what we deem to be as correct. Mr. Executor, as it were, you seem to be the type of guy who appreciates my butt. If I, Lion, were to obtain my butt, I will certainly gift it to you as a sign of goodwill and appreciation for your hard work. I don't think... No, I will not hear of it any longer. Well, but my dad won't let me have a dog. We should carry on. Time is a-wasting. Okay. The executor flips to the next page. Next, we have bequeathment. Everyone perks up a bit. Looks like 3 prestigious collections of Lloyd's will be bequeathed. The executor looks at me and slices the paper over. My job was once again to fill in the splotches. What were Dad's 3 collections? Why are you giving me so much power? Okay, I don't know what to write for these, so I'm just gonna write whatever comes to mind. So, wrinkly socks first, and then the tears of the executor. All right, that's gonna be the second thing, which we've got plenty of at this point. And let's see. Obscure self-cessed fanfics. Yeah, let's go with that. I finished filling in the collections to the best of my knowledge. That was certainly a strange man. I passed the paper back to the executor. Ah, well, of course. I certainly remember my father mentioning Lloyd's expansive The Tears of the Executor collection. What are the others? It seems like wrinkly socks and obscure self-cessed fanfics. Who knew Lloyd would have such peculiar tastes? It seems the receiver of the gifts are Landon, Lion, and Hunter. But who gets what seems to be obscured by... He's refusing to say his own tears. Well, it's obvious who's getting what. It is? Yeah, like, not even a question. Landon gets a Tears of the Executor collection. Landon fist pumps in the air. Hell yeah! What are you gonna do with it? Are you going to bathe in the tears of the executor? Are you going to mix it into your cocktails or mocktails? Considering you clearly can't get a you clearly can't get a good drink without like falling off your own chair. Or like, what are you doing with it, huh? You gonna sell it as like gamer girl bathwater? Is that what you're gonna do? Thanks, Pops. You really did know me best. I can't wait to show off all of my tears of the executor to all the feed fanatics! Oh man, they're just gonna be green with jealousy. I was a bit surprised. I had no idea Landon was into the tears of the executor so much. And sorry, who was this Hunter person? Aunt Lisa points to me questioningly. Aunt Lisa, I'm Lion. So they say. I shoot a quick glare at the stranger. Hunter is your son? Excuse me, Hunter is pronounced Hunter, like the ancient Roman pastime. What a lovely name for a lovely... The stranger squints a bit. Child? They state in a bit unsure of themselves. Have they never seen a child before? Well, Hunter is surely gifted the obscure self-cessed fanfics collection. No, don't introduce your child to AO3. What? Why? A child doesn't seem like they will be interested in things like obscure self-cessed fanfics. A collection of obscure self-cessed fanfics definitely sells for a ton of money on eBay. And my brother would have wanted us to have a nice nest egg for Hunter's Princeton education. I'm not sure obscure self-cessed fanfics sell for a lot of money. Oh, God. Oh, sure it does, Aunt Lisa. You sure have an eye for the savvy. So that means... Like, the wrinkly socks collection! Yay! I get Dad's wrinkly socks! Wow. I've always wanted a collection of wrinkly socks. Of course! It fits you so well! The stranger looks offended. It does. Landon looks up. Yeah, I could see it. You don't already collect wrinkly socks? Yeah, you look like someone who knows a lot about wrinkly socks. You should come on the cast to talk all about wrinkly socks. Yes, of course. I love wrinkly socks so much. They strain out through a pained smile. A whole collection of the tears of the executor sounds like a dream. Sorry, what was that? No, nothing. Is this a weird king that you want to explore later? I mean, I will gladly make you cry, executor. Lion, what was Lloyd's favorite place? His favorite place? Well, it was, let's see, the favorite place? His favorite place? Surely it's a dirty gas station bathroom. Wow, I've always wanted to visit a dirty gas station bathroom too. Now that we have that all sorted out, there's one last thing. There's one last thing to cover. As for his body, Lion requested his ashes to be dispersed at a dirty gas station bathroom. I'm ruining my dad's funeral. Everyone looks around at each other. His body? Yes, this is imperative to the will. Is there something wrong with that? Everyone begins to sweat a bit. How do you mean? Well, if his ashes are not spread there, his will becomes void. It what? I feel like something... No, everything will go swimmingly. We just need to sort out some small issues first. But by God, we will be giving Lloyd his final requested resting place. Why did he want that so badly? Seems kind of strange to me. Lloyd met his wife at a dirty gas station bathroom. No! When she was alive, they would go to visit every year and partake in cooking. What have I done? What have I done? Surely this visual novel is not supposed to be this unhinged, right? It's not supposed to be. I've completely ruined the plot. I never saw all the hullabaloo about a dirty gas station bathroom, but Lloyd said there was no better place to coom with a beautiful woman. The stranger wipes away a crocodile tear. What a touching story, Grandma. I surely would like to pay a visit to a dirty gas station bathroom with my inheritance and pay respects to Dad and Mom's memory. Is it even legal to spread ashes at a dirty gas station bathroom? No one will notice. No one will notice at all. They'll think it's just part of the aesthetic. Of course. And I will be the one to do it with expediency. Wasn't Lloyd buried in a casket during his funeral? The stranger starts to talk at an increased pace. Oh, darling Marv, these days empty caskets are buried all the time. It is a formality for esteemed men. Is that true? I can see the stranger break a sweat. Of course, of course. Darn it. As I think about it, I don't think a dirty gas station bathroom is open until the week. It's open all the time. Well, actually, no, it's not open at night for some reason. Like gas station bathrooms, like here in Malaysia at least, like they tend to close like after the gas station's closed. Or like, even if the gas station ain't closed, it's closed like midnight onwards for some reason. Maybe it's to clean up. I'm not sure. That doesn't sound right. So it may be a few days until we can spread his ashes. Well, that should be fine. It doesn't seem to be done with any immediacy. The stranger visibly relaxes. The executor's phone rings loudly, some obnoxious tune while vibrating against the table. It's Dad. He frantically reaches for the phone, but nothing seems to register in his sweaty fingers. It slips through his grasp, hitting the floor hard enough that the screen goes black. He incoherently scrambles on the floor, trying to find his phone with a sad desperation. Finally, with the phone in grasp, he raises it up triumphantly. He desperately turns it back on, tears welling in his eyes as the undamaged screen shines white. If it's okay, perhaps we should take a little break. I need to make a call, and reception in here is bad. The shaken man runs inside with his phone clutched in his slimy hand. The stranger gets up immediately, leaving for the restroom. I don't trust him not to be up to something. I decide to follow the stranger. I follow them through the hallway where the stranger enters the restroom. I wait outside. A few moments later, I start to get desperate and press my ear up against the door. I heard a strange noise. I can't quite make out what it is. I decide to enter. I enter into the restroom where the stranger is looking towards my entrance with a confident smile, as if they were waiting for me. What took you so long? Don't be too hard on yourself for being overwhelmed. The stranger gestures to themselves dramatically. Most people... You are awful, but you know what? I'm starting to respect you a little more, okay? You are a smarmy git, but I respect you more than anyone else in that room. They lean up against the counter with a forced casual nature, as if we were old friends. Look, why don't you just sit this one out? It's clearly not going your way. There's no shame in quitting. Well, there is. But you're used to it by now, aren't you? They stick out their lower lip in a mocking pout. Can't you just leave? Why are you doing this? What do you even want? They throw their head back in a boisterous laugh that looks at me deadpan in the eye. Isn't it obvious? I want everything. I want the money, the real estate. Hell, I'll even find a way to sell the tiers of the Executor collection off. Maybe I'll even get the wrinkly socks and obscure self-cessed fanfics collections too if I want. I'm sure I could find a use for them. Not the dog though. I have an image to protect. Point being, if I want it, I'm going to have it. And you can't stop me. But why me? The stranger sputters out the first genuine laugh I've heard from them. Are you joking? Look at yourself. You're the easiest mark I've ever seen. You're lucky I'm the one that got to you first. I know at least 3 guys who would have had your kidneys by now. They eye you up and down, amusement painted on their face. And hell, you probably would have thanked them too. They laugh at their own joke after dotting the tears away from their eyes as they straighten back up. Oh, well, this was a nice little chat. I'm going to get back out there. Feel free to continue embarrassing yourself if you like. The stranger walks over to pass me on their way to the door. Well, go get him, Tiger. Up top. The stranger raises their hand up for a high five. Out of instinct, I try to give them one. Ha! Too easy. The stranger exists through the door, leaving me to bask in the shame, hand impotently hanging in the air. Landon suddenly emerges from the stall, eyes redder than before. Whoa, now that was cringe. He gives my raised 5 a light slap on his way out. I take a second alone in the restroom to collect my thoughts. There's no way I can let the stranger get away with this now. I exit the restroom with renewed determination. I walk into the office, my family already deep in conversation. Nobody seems to notice that I have entered. I look around. The stranger is the only one missing from the room. I quietly pray to myself that it stays that way. I hear a faint scraping sound and look down. Hunter is clawing at the ground, crawling in desperation towards my seat. Whenever Hunter is in grasping distance of my leg chair, Aunt Lisa idly yanks on the child leash to slide him back towards her without even looking. I feel a tinge of warmth at the realization that Hunter wants to be near me. I'm pretty sure he just wants, like, his game console is probably under, like, the chair or something. Or his phone. It's probably his phone. As I lean forward to get closer to him, my foot bumps into something. Hunter's smart tablet lays face down on the ground by the foot of my chair. Hunter reaches towards it in desperation. I feel a little disappointed as I reach down to grab the tablet for him. Let me get that for you, buddy. I pick up the tablet, flipping it over. The hell is wrong with you, my child? Also, yes, I had to censor this because, like, it is awful. Right before passing it to Hunter, I pause as my brain processes what I'm seeing. Oh, God. Hunter peers at me desperately, a 1,000-yard stare in his eyes. Is this what he's been watching the whole time? From his headphones, I can hear a cheerful, friendly jingle as I see blood spill on the screen. Uh, this ain't what I gotta do. Oh god, you know what? I'm gonna save and I'll give the tablet back. As I hold the tablet, unsure of what to do, Hunter reaches forward with increasing force. I know if I don't give it back soon, someone is going to notice. I shove the tablet back to Hunter, his hands grabbing at it immediately. Oh, sweetie, is that what you were crawling for? Aunt Lissa looks at you with a smile. Hunter, you have such a nice cousin. Say thank you. Hunter looks up with empty eyes. He looks like he wants to talk, wants to scream, but only a deep, soulless exhale leaves his body. He then goes back to his videos. He's such a silly little boy. A deep, gross feeling washes over me as I realize what I've done. Also, in case anyone's wondering, that's not what I would have done in real life. In real life, I would have immediately showed it to Aunt Lissa. I don't care if we don't have a good relationship. It's completely irresponsible for me to just give it back. And I'm just, I just feel so grossed out at that. God damn. I am so distraught. I don't even notice when the stranger returns to his seat next to me. The executor shakily raises his voice. Also, Aunt Lissa straight up looked me in the eye and called me the cousin. Come on. For the love of God, what's with this charade? Did a stranger pay you off? What's going on here? Now that we're all back, can we please get this over with? I've been waiting for you, my dude. We've all been waiting here for you. Come on, just get it over with. I don't even care at this point. My dad told me to read it how it's written and to not let anyone interrupt me. So, we are just going to get started. Huzzah, my good man! The executor stutters for a moment, taken off guard before starting up again. So we went through the inheritance regarding Lloyd's collection. So, the next on the list is Great Uncle George's heirlooms. First up on the list is, rifle? Ah, yes, the Springfield Model 1861 rifle. Marv has set up straight for the first time since this whole ordeal has started. So she is looking at any of this. She seems to be reinvigorated. Her eyes alive with the ghosts of her past. Okay, great. My Uncle George found that rifle while working on the fields. It was the year 1929. Well, wait, can we? A cold and unforgiving 4:34 a.m. morning, dead of winter, a frozen 12.222 degrees Celsius, exactly, I remember. He would toil for hours, 14.8 hours a day, aside from the Lord's Day, of course, getting the lands ready for the harvest season. He wiped his sweat off his brow as his straw hat fell towards the earth. I stood in the kitchen, a small comfort provided by the stone walls of our warm 58.22 degrees Fahrenheit cabin. I leaned over the boiling pot, preparing the man's breakfast. I should use my grandma voice for this. I leaned over the boiling pot, preparing the man's breakfast, which consisted of a dear chicken Gloria's final few eggs before she fell to consumption, and milk from the cow stood in the barn, prepared to walk the long and arduous journey to market. We had no choice but to sell our dear cow for only $28.85, which in today's money would be around $532.29. My father sat at the table waiting for his meager breakfast. Though he said nothing, I could tell he was happy to have a woman to help in the kitchen, especially as my mother had recently, just the previous year, succumbed to the scarlet fever. I would hold her hand for the last time at 8:27 p.m. August 21st. My father wished me better, regretful that I had not yet married, having grown weary of me since my birth, 1921. Grandma Marv shows no sign of slowing down. I look at the executor, hoping he will speak up. He was too cowardly to do so. Do your goddamn job! The stranger, pretending to listen intently, is clearly spaced out. Landon and Lissa sit distracted on their phones. I sigh internally as Marv picks up steam. While blowing that unforgiving field. Oh, where was that field again? Ah, yes, I believe it was approximately at latitude 15 degrees, 17.92 north, and longitude negative 109, 53 degrees, 10.91 west. So it was a mysterious find. My Uncle George recognized it instantly. It would tell me that it was from yesteryear of 1959, the Battle of Little Big Hornhead. Georgie would tell me all about it while we walked exactly 48 kilometers to the coal mines where he worked. He found that it belonged to the General Walter Scott Staham. Yes, he would have sold the rifle for $13.96, but this rifle was a point of pride for us. It expressed that our humble ranch was indeed on the same location as the least known but most consequential battle of the war, the Battle of Little Big Hornhead. These days, they aren't saying it didn't even happen, that there was no Battle of Little Big Hornhead. They are trying to erase our history as usual. I sit there, frozen, learning more about my family history than I am comfortable with. Landon, you should talk about that on your radio program. Yep, sure, Gran. Landon doesn't even look up. If children these days knew, they would take more pride in their history. Back then, these children were working hard. They took pride in helping the family. That despicable act in 1938 made layabouts of full generations. She dropped her head peacefully now. A story finally completed. Okay, to get back to the topic of the rifle. Ah, yes, that rifle. It makes me so nostalgic. Ah, yes, what was the year of that rifle again? Oh, my God! 1861, that's the year of it. Moth's face brightens up. Ah, yes, dear, that was indeed it. Thank you. Glad to see at least someone of this family remembers the important things. So, the rifle would be donated to the Utah Museum of History. Moth nods in stern agreement. As it should be. You cleanse it first. Oh, I'm sure the museum knows how to clean it properly before displaying it. No, cleanse. That thing is definitely burdened with a lot negative spirit energy. She nods sagely. I just don't want anyone in the museum to get hurt. Oh, Dr. Starseed does cleansing. Dr. Starseed, you say? We should look at the whole list of artifacts. Different spirits need different cleansings for different prices, of course. Aunt Lissa turns to me. Oh, you clearly have some bad vibes. I'll pass you Dr. Starseed's number. You need it. Excuse me? The stranger scoffs. Yeah, you would keep Dr. Starseed busy for a whole lot of billable hours. He does require a cash advance, though, and he does not accept insurance. I narrow my eyes. At this point, I can say that I unfortunately know the stranger well enough to know when something is up. And indeed, something seems fishy here. I turn to Lissa. Aunt Lissa, you wouldn't happen to have a picture of this Dr. Starseed, would you? Oh, I'm sure I could find one on the Guru Guide. Lissa starts to look through her phone. I glance at the stranger. Confidence exudes from them. I don't blame you for wanting an eyeful. Sounds like a handsome fella. Oh, here you go. Aunt Lissa slides the photo towards me. You've got to be kidding me. Well, certainly something. The guy definitely looks like he gets around. Steer in the right direction, double down. You know what? What do you mean? The hell do you mean by that? I'm gonna steer in the right direction, I guess. I'm not gonna double down, okay? Steer in the right direction. I couldn't help but to feel bad for Aunt Lissa getting scammed by this scumbag even before this whole ordeal started. At this point, I know if I try to expose them, they will just have another lie backed up. I try to go about this softly. So, what does this cleansing do? Well, it releases your tension, realigns your chakras, and pushes out any evil spirits who have been caught in your aura. I have a particularly large aura, so it is quite the problem for me. She looks somewhat proud of herself. By the way, it's white. That's the rarest, you know? So what does this cleansing look like? Well, you can't see it, but you can feel it. Dr. Stasi lays his hands to dispel any negative energy. So he hovers his hands over you? Oh no, he gets in there. Lissa blushes and squirms a bit. I snap my head towards the stranger, horrified at the implication. And it feels good? Oh, absolutely. For a few seconds, I have this glow and can see God. The Aunt Lissa have her first orgasm. I can't say this on YouTube. And what does your husband think of this? Oh, he loves them. He gets them too, all the time. I had to drag him there the first time, but now I just can't keep him away. He says he needs to realign his chakras 3 times a week. It dawns on me in that moment that in order to talk her out of her delusions, I will need to give her that talk. And I decide it's not entirely worth it. So the full body alignment is necessary to strip yourselves of any worldly possessions, such as clothing. Okay, I think we should move on. Like, little Huntier is down there on the floor, and I know he's got his headphones on, but, like, I don't think he needs to hear any of this. Executor, shall we carry on? Please, for the love of God, can we carry on? Yes, absolutely. Then you start the chakra alignment in the region of... Landon, let's talk about your part of the will. Landon looks up from his phone for the first time in what felt like hours. Oh, it's finally my turn? Sick, let's do this. Okay, great. The executive flips through his papers. Landon. Oh, here we go. Let's see. The executive's eyes scan over the document. His face blanches a bit and he clears his throat. Let me just read what Lloyd wrote down. To my dear boy Landon. So you know, I'll always be proud of you. I fear my love may have held you back. So this is my gift to you. Freedom from my legacy. I hereby relinquish a single property. The house I lived in when I started my first business. That check? Where am I gonna put my Tears of the Executor collection? Though it is a bit of a fixer-upper, it will serve you well in propelling you forward to achieving great things. Think of it as a launch pad to build a lasting legacy for yourself, much like I have. This is a joke, right? I was supposed to get the business, the factory, the properties. Well, you did still inherit a property. That check! That thing is falling apart! Is this a Naruto sad? Isn't this the Naruto track? Like the one where, like... Oh my god, it is. It's the one that plays every single time. There's like a really sad, like flashback happening. Oh my god, what the hell? I have an image to uphold here. I'm a business mogul. The feed fanatics rely on me making billions. Please don't tell me you're the one behind Feed Finder. Like, please. I've been promising the feed fanatics a house tour for years. I've been counting on that mansion. Landon is truly distraught in what seems like the most honest emotion I've ever seen from him yet. Well, also, Dad may have a point. It does little to cushion how hard it is to see Landon this desperate. The only thing that distracts me from Landon's suffering is the growing grin of realization on the stranger beside me. Oh man, what am I going to do? They're going to think I'm a fraud! You know what? Okay, I guess for now, I'm going to encourage fraud. This ain't, I wouldn't do this, but I don't know what Coddle Him does. I'm going to encourage fraud and see if this, like, puts him in the right direction. I look at Landon. And what's so bad about being a fraud? These days, you can have a business for anything. We have the freedom to. So if you think about it, what's a fraud besides a businessman that got caught? Landon is listening intently. He seems to be taking it all in. So, what I say you should do is take the property, and then you can use it as a warehouse. You already have a group of people who are passionate about feet. Actually, it's a business podcast. Why does nobody understand that? You can buy cheap foot jewelry in large quantities, and then double the price on popular online retailers. Landon seems to resonate with what I'm saying. You can even expand to other products as well. No! The stranger cuts me off. Let's stick with feet. I like where this is go. You feet freak! The stranger leans forward, taking the flow of the conversation in stride. Let's say you sell foot jewelry. You can take many different pictures and different angles of this foot jewelry, and then even sell those pictures. Will that really sell? Who would want photos of that? A lot of people, but stay with me. This isn't where it ends. I start feeling nervous at where the stranger is going with this. You can even have those specific foot models live out of this house, and sell special services. Oh god, they aren't! Special feet services. For a price, of course. Services? Like a massage. Something like that. But of course, I don't give all my business information away for free. But count yourself lucky. Someone like myself is willing to go in on this business venture with you. And you can even own it on paper. Your name on everything. Just think of me as a partner from the shadows, if you will. I tried to cut off the stranger's flow. I don't want to dampen the mood here, but that sounds super illegal. Kinda like human. It's actually pronounced humane, which will, of course, be a forefront virtue of our business. That's human trafficking, my dude! I turned to Landon in desperation. Landon, you can't listen to this person. And I'm supposed to listen to you? You can't even pronounce human trafficking! Well, now that the beautiful house has been passed to my brother, what's left over for little old lion? Right. The executive flips his papers, finally reaching the section that concerns me. It seems that your father has left you quite a letter. The will request to read it before we proceed. Let me just... The executive opens the letter and begins to read. To my dear lion, ever since you were just about 5 years old, you have always tried to be bigger and stronger than your britches allowed. I watched in awe as you grew up fast, eventually growing into those britches of yours. When you finally let go of my hand, waving goodbye to me, stepping into that first school bus. Even a godless man like myself prayed that you would never outgrow your old man. I remember the moment before the door closed, you saw my fear in letting you go. In that moment, I'll never forget the words you yelled just as the doors closed, separating us for the first time. Excuse me, I am now just realizing it's a little unfair Hunter only inherited one thing. The executor pauses, looking at me. I make a light gesture for him to continue. I'll continue from here. My dear lion, you have always had a strong sense of justice. Never able to sit idly by when you see an injustice being done. I like to think you take after your own old pops in that way. Even when the world tries to lead you astray, you always stand strong and never settle for an easy way out. Even when the road gets tough. Yeah, actually, speaking of roads, who gets the Hummer? That thing's sweet, 4-wheel drive and everything. Executor, can we just continue on, please? Yes, of course. I think here is where we left off. I still remember the day I took you out of your school early and we visited the museum with your mother. Walking the near empty halls of your mother, hearing your excitement at each artifact we saw. That was a day I would always be able to look back on with a smile. Your mother would have been so proud of you, Lion. Oh, that's right, the rifle, you know. On second thought, we should put it in the museum. Kids have no appreciation for history these days. Executor! In my frustration, I accidentally raised my voice louder than I originally intended. Beep! The executor jumps, his papers flying everywhere. Oh, my dear! He scrambles to pick them up. I think this is the one. Oh, that's not. Actually, sorry, I think it's... The stranger claps their hands together. Alright, well, that was so touching. They wipe away a tear that isn't there. Just like my father, to go on and on and on and on. But why don't we cut the chase and get to the important part? How much are we, me. How much am me, Lion, getting here? Oh, so you don't want to hear the rest of the letter? The executor looks between myself and the stranger. It's clear that everyone is becoming impatient. That my father's letter only matters to me. I'd like to read the rest of it. There's an audible groan somewhere amongst the crowd. Well, can you go do that outside then? I want to hear what my dad left me. Dad requested it to be read here, so I think we should honor his wishes. Do any of you care about Dad's wishes? Do any of you even care about Dad at all? If Dad saw how all of you were acting today, he would be so disappointed. At this point, it finally hits me. All the feelings I've been suppressing since the funeral. My dad is really gone. This is all I have left of him. Tears well in my eyes as I think about everything we didn't get a chance to do together. Everything I was not able to say to him. Air catches in my throat as I start sobbing. As I stand alone, picturing a life without my father. Suddenly, a handkerchief flies towards me, hitting me square in the face. Take it outside, prima donna! Okay. Back to violence. I am going to ruin this man's entire career. This is a place of business. You are interrupting a legal proceeding. Yeah, and here's the thing, you dumb frick. According to the legal document, If the entire letter is not read, you don't get a damn thing. So, ha ha. I feel numb as I see the executor shuffle my father's letter into a separate pile. He brings forward the paper which details my inheritance. To my beloved child, Lion, I hereby bequeath you the beachfront property. Come on, beachfront property! The Turtleway beachfront bungalow. Yes! I shoot a glare towards the stranger, which is completely ignored. I also bequeath you. Come on, more properties! I know you got 5 more! The additional 5 properties. And the development contract? The executor glances a bit puzzled at the paper. Oh yes, as well as the development contract for condos on the vacant Culver lot. Yes! Thank you, Papa! The what? How did you know about that? I glance at Landon, assuming he passed on some inside knowledge, but he seems as confused as I am. I was very involved in the family business. So just to wrap things up quicker, I'm guessing 4 cars, 2 trucks, stocks, bonds, 500,000 in cash. Did I miss anything? The executor looked shocked. No, that's about all of it. Great! So tell me where to sign and I'll be on my way. As the stranger reaches forward towards the pen, I grab their wrist. I am not letting you take what Dad left me like this. The stranger scoffs. Well, I hardly think that is up to you to decide. Let us start over with my lovely family, as was planned from the start. Executor, if you will. Yes. Please, on the count of 3, point towards who you believe to be the correct lion. Count of 2 should suffice. The stranger picks at their nails casually. Sure. I almost chuckle at the stranger's high confidence. As I turn to survey the room, I notice all my family members gazing at the stranger in admiration. My stomach sinks. 2? Oh my god, they're actually gonna choose them! I decide to do something fast. You know what? Bargain. Look, please, I'll do anything. Anything? I take that back. I'll go 50-50, or even 40-60. Just please don't write me out. The stranger waves their hands with disinterest. Please, please, executor, ignore this nobody. Bitch, you didn't even want to hear the rest of the letter. You ain't nothing like the lion that was described in a goddamn letter. That is the biggest red flag, and if no one in this room sees it, I swear to God. 1. Without a single moment of hesitation, fingers raised from all of my family members pointing towards the person to the right of me. A sense of defeat washes over me as the stranger snatches the pen and paper, signing what used to be my name with ease. I can't believe this really happened. The stranger turns towards me. On the next order of business, I'd appreciate it if you didn't desecrate Lion by using it anymore. I believe it's officially my name now. Right. Of course. What the frick? And the they-thems that go with it. What? How does that work? Don't make a fuss. You knew the stakes. From now on, I'm the one demoted into the position of the stranger. After sitting in the office for longer than I should have, I eventually find the energy to leave. I close the doors to the office behind me, still shell-shocked that this is my new life. Excuse me. Lion taps their foot impatiently. They stick their hand out, palm up in front of me. I think you're forgetting something. What? My car, please. Lion jerks their head towards where my car sits. That's my... whose name is on the title? I hang my head in defeat. Yours. Exactly. Hand them over now, or else I will call the police. I hand over the keys and turn to walk away. Ahem! I look back. My wallet too, and whatever else is in your pockets. I empty my pockets into Lion's hands and walk away with only my shoes to my name. The shoes too. He took my goddamn shoes! What the hell? I've never seen such an extravagance for a birthday party in my life. Upwards of 20 clowns, 10 presidential impersonators, and 40 cakes. And even Jacob was able to take time away from coming to be. Oh, glimmer in my dad's old beach bungalow, fully decked out for Hunter's 6th birthday party. I stand out in the bitter patch of rain that seems to follow me. My ex-family laughs and dances, drunk on their own happiness. A happiness that once was supposed to belong to me. But that was when I was Lion. It feels like a distant past. My breath fogs up the glass as I stare into the party. Lion smoothly commandeered the mechanical bull, as they once commandeered my life. Swinging and bouncing with glee in the golden light as if mocking me in the shadows. My hand shake as I press it up against the glass, desperation to get to the other side. I may not be able to penetrate the glass, but what is held in my other could bring an end to this illusion. Okay, I hope they enjoy their time as lion. Because soon, it will be my turn again. The hell was that? I'm going to attempt to actually win this confrontation against the stranger, so let's see how this goes. Hug them! I make my way to my family members. Being so nervous, I don't notice my surroundings and slam my toe into the table leg. Ah! My stubbed toe throbs as my family looks on with secondhand embarrassment. I sink into my seat with a sense of shame. Well, I guess we don't exist. I tried to hug you! What do you mean? Also, we're gonna skip ahead. Okay, so over here, we're supposed to assess the situation. We've already seen all this, so just gotta skip right on along. Okay, I need to get this information out before the stranger does. Yes, I do. I just told you all this out in the hallway before. Oh, did you? You seem to be suffering from an ailment. The stranger cuts me off before I can continue. The ailment of remembering conversations that never happened. The stranger tries to make meaningful eye contact with the rest of the family. That hasn't quite won them over yet. It did. You tricked me into revealing a bunch of information about my dad. Oh yeah? Like what? Like his hobbies and... Is that right? Then Lion, what is my dear father's hobby? It's cooming. Of course! Who here wouldn't know about Dad's great passion for cooming? I'm not sure if any of you know this, but old Pops was even the first-year winner of cooming back in '93. They have competitions for that? Even I'm surprised. Even I'm surprised that this has become a competition. Of course they do, Granny. Cooming is a competitive scene. The boys work up a sweat doing cooming. Nothing manlier out there than some good old-fashioned cooming. That's what I say. Do you even know anything about cooming? Of course! Then how is it scored in a competition? The stranger clams up. They glance around at my relatives. It seems they are at a loss before they soon recover. Well, you obviously win by being the best. My relatives look on skeptically. I don't think they are winning any points with them. Since you think you know so much about my father, I'm sure you also know he works in the... I cut in quickly before he can say it. What industry? Coom. I successfully cut the stranger off. I'm sure you wouldn't know anything about coom, but I do. Do you know why? Because every Sunday evening over dinner, my father would relent about returning to work the next day. He will complain about his co-worker Calvin and Calvin's incompetence in the coom field. There's a whole field for coom. Dad would say there just isn't a coom bone in Calvin. Do you know about Calvin? Of course I know Calvin. That guy. He was laughably incompetent. I lean in dramatically, making eye contact with the stranger. Calvin. It's a woman! My family casts a skeptical look at the stranger. I can't lie. It feels good to finally get one up on them. A wave of confidence washes over me. I look at the stranger with determination in my eye. My heart is beating rapidly at my boldness. See that, you? My boldness faltered mid-sentence, creating a weird crack in my voice that sounded like a faked accent. Don't challenge me again. Oh! Aunt Lisa perks up, looking at my other two relatives. Was that? Totally was. Bro, that was a sick impersonation. Landon quickly fiddles with his phone, raising it up to filming position. Oh man, can you do that again? I gotta get it for the cast. Did you see the newest season? The heck? No, I'm just gonna skip ahead. Okay, so over here, I wanted both of us to survive, but I know for a fact he's gonna take my goddamn shoes, so I'm gonna keep talking. I brought it up at this point. I feel like I can keep rolling. Yes, my favorite character is that guy with the hair. Oh man, his name is on the tip of my tongue. Barnaby? Yeah, Barnaby was so cool. He really has screen presence, you know? I never really thought about an old guy like him having screen presence. I can tell what true depth Barnaby holds. I just have an artistic eye for these things. Yeah, now that you mention it, Barnaby really does have that artistic screen presence. I always just thought of him as the grumpy old man side character that says funny things sometimes. But now that I think about it, that's pretty deep. I never thought a centaur would have such a meaningful presence like that. A centaur? What is this show? we please get back to business here? Sure, and I'm skipping ahead. Like, y'all don't need to... Okay, I jump in and help. Whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. Lloyd's dog's name. His dog's name. What did I think? What was the name again? Whatever. I'm going to say it's, Gift Master. I pass the paper to the executor. Gift Master is a very apt name for this thing. Skipping ahead. How much? I'm just gonna put in all the numbers because I aim to win. I aim to win this. And wait, hang on. More nines. Just gonna keep going. Just gonna break the goddamn game. Just gonna keep it coming. And yoink. I scroll the amount onto the paper and pass it back to the executor. I didn't finish reading this, so I'm just gonna skip till the part where I actually read it. I will surely take him and give him a wonderful life. Excellent. So I will pass Jacob's contact information to you, so he can stop by once a month and verify Gift Master is alive. What? Why? Well, this is all contingent on Gift Master living. I just remembered, I'm allergic. Well, surely, I'll die. Uh-oh. Well, I guess then Landon, if you're still up for it. Yeah, sure. The executive flips the next page. Next, we have bequeathment. Skipping this ahead. First collection was Wrinkly Socks. Second collection was, what was the second collection again? Something I was gonna pass over to that guy. Let's see. The Tears of the the Executor. And the third collection was going to be, obscure, self-obsessed, fanfics. Yeah, and just gotta skip all this ahead. Landon gets Wrinkly Socks collection. Landon fist pumps in the air. Hell yeah! Thanks, Pops. You really didn't know me best. I can't wait to show off all of my wrinkly socks to all the foot fanatics. Oh man, they're gonna be green with jealousy. I was a bit surprised. Had no idea Landon was into wrinkly socks so much. I'm sorry, who was this hunter person? Oh, okay, we've already seen all this. I'm skipping ahead. Right, we've skipped ahead. Everyone's got an inheritance. Apparently, I got the collection of obscure self-sass fanfics, and little dude got, like, a bunch of, like, Tears of the Executor. And now that we've got enough, like, points, the scene in the bathroom has changed. I stride into the restroom. The sound of heavy breathing echoes the empty space. They lean over the sink. I can't help but to laugh loudly at their pathetic form. The stranger's eye snapped towards me. Aw, what's the matter, Lion? Is it not going as you hoped? I let out a confident laugh, mimicking their own laugh. I think you aimed a little too high on this one, buddy. That suit, clearly not your color. Why don't you go somewhere that's more your speed? Like a flea market. Or you could hawk stolen goods with the other lowlifes at the boardwalk. You'd fit right in. I'm drunk on power as their breathing becomes ragged. So confident that I never even noticed what they had in their hand. They approached me silently, standing in front of me. The stranger's hot breath hitting my face. Their shoulders rise and fall with each heavy breath. Aw, what is that? You gonna cry? Make sure to dab your tears so it don't ruin your fake tan. Faster than I can react, I feel a sharp pain. I glance down, a knife protruding in my gut. The stranger's skull twists into a demented smile as they pull it out and plunge it back in. There is nothing human behind their eyes. There will only be one lion! The stranger plunges the knife back in again and twists hard. And it's not going to be you. Next thing I know, I'm staring at the ceiling, my vision fading. The stranger stands over my body. They pat their hair down and straighten their tie. The stranger's face snaps back into the same confident smile. Showtime. The stranger steps over my body, careful to not get blood on their shoes, and walk out the door. What the hell? What do you mean? Okay, so something I didn't account for is the fact that if you get everything correct, you will actually die in a bathroom stall. So I had to get one of the answers wrong, just so that I can have a chance to survive. I enter into the restroom, a hitching breath echoing off of the walls. The stranger's leaning over the sink, tears streaming down their face. The stranger is so consumed with themselves, they don't even notice me. They don't even notice me entering. A raised, shaky finger points towards their own reflection. You're a winner. You are a lion. That money is yours. You are not a loser. You do not lose. Especially not to wimpy little nobody. You talk about me. They jump a bit, just now realizing I was in the room. I bet they're so embarrassed. The stranger turns towards me, lines of tears falling down their face. I am not a loser! I will not lose to a nobody! Yeah, I heard that. Not sure why I was expecting an apology. We stare at each other as they sniff loudly. Can you just go home? This obviously isn't going to work. Why don't you just leave with whatever dignity you have left? Fresh tears flow down their tan-stained face as they start to pathetically sputter. Can't! You see, I need the money. My mother, she fell. Yeah, I'm not buying that. The stranger doubles over. What did you really think was going to happen? That I would just hand over my inheritance? Well, obviously. I thought you were just going to fold immediately. From what I've seen, that's how you usually respond to conflict. What do you mean by that? Have you been stalking me? Please, just let me get the win! Please! I want to win so badly! I work so hard! It's not fair! Scamming people ain't working hard, my dude. It's like, God, it's pointless to even try to beg me. I deserve to win! What do you mean win? This is my inheritance. Please! Please! Just let me win! Please! I can't seem to get a word in as their desperate begs fill the room. Please! Oh my God, shut up! I'm gonna make a save here just in case. I'm gonna leave the restroom. Not willing to get caught up in the stranger's antics any longer, I turn around and leave the restroom. I can hear the stranger flop onto the floor behind me on my way out. Please, oh God! Don't leave me here! My dude's just like, my cousin just back there high as all hell. Whoa, cringe. I walk into the office, my family already deep in conversation. We're just gonna skip ahead because I don't want you all to see the gore, okay? But just know that apparently I just give the iPad back. So it's important to note like everything which grandma told you about up to this point, like it actually does net you a point in winning. So like, and you have to write it exactly. So 4:34 a.m. for what time Uncle George works on the field. Mob's face brightens up. Oh yes, dear. That was indeed it. Thank you. I'm gonna skip right ahead. I don't think Dr. Starseed has time in his schedule. He's too successful to meet with a loser like yourself. I narrow my eyes. At this point, I can say that I unfortunately know the stranger well enough to know when something is up. And indeed, something seems fishy here. I turn to Lissa. Gotta skip right ahead. Over here. So apparently over here, we're supposed to double down, so I'm just gonna do just that. So yeah. I look at the stranger, smirk on my face. I then turn back to Lissa. Oh, that is Dr. Starseed? It was sad to hear about the controversy with him. Who knew he was just like the rest? But we don't have the time to get into all of that now. Executor, please carry on. Oh, thank you. Lissa holds up her hand, stopping the executor mid-word. Sorry, controversy? If you're talking about the unsubstantiated claim of lead in his diet elixir, that was disproven by scientists last year. Oh no, I'm talking about the other controversy. There was another one? Haven't heard of that. Of course you haven't, because of the cover-up. The cover-up? Lissa echoes intrigue. Yeah, they say. I lean in to whisper, as if it's dangerous news. Where his money comes from. She leans in closer. Where does his money come from? The FDA! Lissa leans back. Shock sweeps across her face. No! Yes. Who told you that? The channeling guru? His visions are fake and I can prove it! I ignore the stranger's outburst. Didn't you wonder where that taste came from? The taste? Oh, no! I hear it's only the freshest mountain spring water. It only has a chemical taste if you need purifying. I lean in once more. They say it's the fluoride. No! Yes! And you know what fluoride is, right? She shakes her head, her body racked with fear. There's definitely no fluoride in any of the elixirs. Too expensive. No. What? Liquid 6G! 6? Yes. 6! 6G is like 5G, but instead of affecting your cells, it affects your chakras. No! I solemnly nod. The government has launched a campaign to take your chakras. Project Reset Sad. Lisa looks on, intrigued, scared, and most importantly, paying no attention to the stranger. Project Reset sad, or as it's more commonly known by its anagram, Dr. Starseed! Oh my god! Lisa looks distraught but relieved. Thank you so much for telling me. I trust you'll never buy any of his elixirs again. Oh, of course not. Good, let's move on then. Landon, I don't think we talked about your inheritance yet, and we're gonna skip ahead where we can. Yeah, just gotta skip right ahead, and over here, instead of encouraging fraud over this weird Naruto soundtrack, we're going to coddle him. I look at Landon. Landon, you aren't a fraud. You're the best businessman I know. I bet Dad was just jealous that your podcast was gonna take off soon. Landon nods in agreement. I'm sure in 5 years, Landon gives a sad look. In 2 years, this will be your tragic backstory. That you can tell as you shake hands with, Charlie Munger? Charlie Munger, who the hell was that? Actually, I swiftly cut off the stranger. Your feet fanatics will worship the ground you walk on and your feet! And your name will be written in history. Soon you won't even have to work. You can just sell business classes online like all the grades. To lead other aspiring young business moguls on the right path to generational wealth. Landon begins to look more confident. Whoa, can't wait to get started. With you, my biggest investor. Wait, what? We will see riches in no time, right after you wire me $20,000 to $50,000. Oh my god, no! Why are you like this? Wait, I can't believe my angel investor was my sib all along. Okay. I painfully squeak out. Wow, now I almost feel bad about bringing this guy in. Let him point his thumb towards the stranger. Good joke, bro. Now that that beautiful house has been passed to my brother, what's left over for little old lion? Ah, right. Okay, just gotta skip all this, because why the hell not? I feel a wave of shame wash over me. Have I really fallen so far just since the funeral? Even when the road gets tough. Yeah, actually, speaking of roads, who gets a Hubbard? What the heck? I'm just gonna skip right ahead. Let's skip the letter. Feeling the pressure of the room, and a desperation to be on my relative's good side, I relent. Yeah, let's just move on then. Alright, you heard my imposter. Let's carry onward and forward. Executor, if you will. I feel numb as I see the executor shuffle my father's letter into a separate pile. He brings forward the paper which details my inheritance. To my beloved child, Lion, I hereby bequeath you the beachfront property. Come on, beachfront property! I don't care, skip all this. And yeah, I think at this point it's pretty clear who Lloyd's real kid is. Hey man, if I remember correctly, that's not your decision to make. We're deciding as a family. Oh well then, let's get started. On the count of 3, please point towards who you believe to be the correct lion. The stranger turns towards me, a forced smile painful on their face. Hey, how about we hold off on that for a bit? 3. Look, champ, I don't think you understand what you're getting into. 2. I'll give you the beach bungalow, as long as you promise you'll let me visit once a year. The stranger gives a mechanical wink, their desperation practically splitting into my ear. 1. Okay, you'll kill me, I don't care. Unfazed from the stranger's antics, I look uncomfortably towards my family. And full approval! They all point at me one by one. I hate that I got their approval. Landon first, and then Marv. Lisa soon joining the others. Well, that settles it. With one swift movement, I snatch a pen from the stranger's greedy, slimy claws, ignoring their cries of desperation. I sign the paper, finally able to put the worst day of my life behind me. I leave the office in stride, for once in my life, proud of myself and my family. The experience of nearly losing everything was too close for comfort. Standing in the lobby as a stranger, I pick up my pace, speed walking towards the door. Also, I'm not sure I believe any of his threats. I would not like to necessarily stick around to find out. Hey there! I hear the stranger yell and turn my head slowly in his direction. Just want to say that I'm proud of what you did and oh, screw off, my dude. You came a long way from the little wimp I met this morning. At this point, his insult doesn't even faze me, so I nod back in appreciation. I didn't expect you to take the high road, but, thank you. I walk out of the building and to my car, getting inside. I can see the stranger getting into his car in my rearview mirror. I turn the key, but my car does not react at all. I turn it again and no dice. Weird. The stranger sits in his car, idly staring in my direction. Only when I leave my vehicle do I notice that my car is propped up on cinder blocks. Tires completely gone. When did he have time for this? Feeling a sense of panic, I immediately pop the hood and run to check the inside of my car. It's empty. Screech. I step my head up to see the stranger pull up beside me in his red convertible. See you in the next one! The stranger slings on his sunglasses, peeling out of the parking lot, laughing maniacally. His car weighed down so heavily that every bump produces a loud scraping noise. I don't even care at this point, he's gone. After having to overcome the stranger, I've never felt closer to my family. And that lasted about a week. Landon sits beside me at the table, mid-spiel about his new business venture. So imagine, you are going on a yacht trip / hiking retreat. How would you know what shoes to wear for both? That's where my new AI-powered shoe styler comes in. Oh my god! Oh, so it orders you the shoes? No, are you even listening? It programs you the shoes you already have. How does it... Landon looks at me expectantly. I'll agree. I nod to Landon. Oh yeah, dude, that's like a totally sick idea. Make sure to remember me when you make millions. I phoned up Jack off earlier this week. We're going to meet up at a dirty bathroom stall to talk about some vesting. God damn it! Aunt Lisa walks up with a disturbingly gray plate of food. Your raw meat cake is here. Don't worry, I aerated it enough to get all of the extra pesticides out. I look down at the gray slop on the plate. Cooperate. I shakily bring the fork to my mouth. The smell is both sharp, heavy, and pungent. I scoop cake into my mouth, suppressing a hearty gag. With every wheel of willpower, the cake slides down my throat, slick, wet, and oily. Wow, Aunt Lisa, I can feel the GMOs leaving my body already. You have got to send me this recipe. Aunt Lisa looks extremely flattered. Family secret. Aunt Lisa and Landon launch into a conversation about holistic healing. I look to my left where Mauve sleeps. At least I think she's sleeping. I don't really have the energy at this point to find out. I fought tooth and nail for this. I guess I should be happy. I'm sad financially for the rest of my life, but some part of me can't help but to think of the price I'm paying for it. I glance over at Mauve, not sure if I can see any breathing. At least I'll see him soon. I wonder if I'll make the same decisions. The hell do you mean? Alright, right now we're gonna go for the tie ending, and for this you're gonna need about 5 to 8 points of approval, so yeah, let's see how this goes. Well, let's just all calm down now. I believe a vote is in order. Alright, on the count of 3, why don't you all point towards the person you believe to be the true lion? I begin to sweat, nervous for the moment to arrive. 3, I look at the stranger. They are sweating too, not nearly as secure in their victory as they may have hoped. 2, my family look amongst themselves. Even at this moment, it seems as if they don't know what to decide. 1, I resist the urge to shut my eyes as their hands fall in judgment. I need to face whatever future they have decided for me. My heart sinks as I realize Lissa's and Mauve's fingers are pointed towards the stranger, while Landon's lone finger points towards me. Well, that settles that then. The stranger reaches for the pen. Wait! The executive boldly grabs the stranger's wrist. Aren't you forgetting someone? The stranger's jaundiced eyes widen as a fearful realization hits them. No! Lion? Lion. A small voice cries out amongst the crowd. Lion! We all follow the sound of the voice, casting our gaze to the floor, where a small figure rises boldly. Lion! That little child watching gore is pointing at me! He cries out with a confident voice, small finger pointed in my direction. The final vote has been cast. We had our judgment. With no clear winner, a compromise had to be made. We stand in front of the mirror and look at the cheap, smelly suit that we had decided on. Oh, Lion, are you ready? I sigh, giving my gel bleach blonde hair a final inspection before turning away. Yes, Lion, let's get this over with. Turning away from the mirror gives me no respite. The stranger stands in the doorway, another perfect reflection. Soon enough, we sit at Hunter's 6th birthday party. The two of us crammed into one small chair. The stranger, engrossed in conversation with Aunt Lissa, flings his arm out in a grand gesture, pushing me slightly off the chair. I push back slightly to ensure I don't cede an inch of space to lie in. As it's my turn with a fork, I take a bite from our shared slice of cake, making sure to eat equal amounts of cake and frosting. All in accordance with our contract, of course. I wait anxiously for my turn to pick up the conversation with Aunt Lissa. Considering how close I got to losing everything, I shouldn't be ungrateful. But sometimes living half a life can be hard, especially when Lion is the one I'm sharing it with. Right. Huh. Okay then. Right now we're gonna go with the giving up ending, and I'm not gonna show you my decisions after this. I don't think it really matters, so yeah, fine, whatever. The stranger's relentless begging begins to wear me down. I try to back up towards the door. Every step I take backwards, the stranger glances at the door in desperation and shuffles towards me. I think about my family and my life. Makes me wonder how much I actually want this. Is my inheritance worth this much grief, struggle, and frustration? I was getting by just fine before all of this. And I hate to think what they'd do if this doesn't go their way. Fine, whatever. Really? Yeah. Really? Yes. What is wrong with you? The stranger bounces through their feet with a celebrative hop. I'm actually secretly impressed by how spry the movement is. Yay! You won't regret this. I am regretting it already. Well, you will, but not before it's too late. I promise. I'll name my first yacht after you. Yeah, that sounds great. The stranger hums happily as they leave the restroom with an invigorated step. Well, I lost a lot of money, but at least now I can tell everyone I actually think of them. I follow behind. I walk into the office, my family already deep in conversation. Nobody seems to notice that I've entered. I look around, the stranger is the only one missing from the room. I quietly pray to myself that it stays that way, and we're gonna skip ahead. Apparently, your decisions change after you give up, so I'm going to like the video. I smashed the like button, forever cementing it into his algorithm. Good luck, buddy. In 10 years, the psychologist studying you will thank me. I shove the tablet back towards Hunter, and he continues watching. I look around to see if anyone has noticed. The stranger, who at some point returned back to their seat, stares at me. I half expect them to say something, to expose me, but the stranger just nods. Nice. The executor shakily raises his voice. Now that we're all back, can you please get this over with? Alright, I'm skipping right ahead just to see what happens next. Tell her the truth? Sure. Here's a better question, Mavi. When are you finally going to kick the bucket, you old bat? You clearly contribute nothing to this conversation. Honestly, I'm not even sure why you came here at all. Aside from wasting our time with terrible platitudes of the old days, half of which we all know is just made up stuff. Your daddy was a grayback and you're a slag. Moth gasps indignantly, facing away. So the rifle will be donated to the Utah Museum of History. Moth nods in stern agreement. As it should be. You cleanse it first. Okay, skipping right along. I don't care. And I guess I'm telling Aunt Lissa the truth? Hey, Aunt Lissa, want to know the truth? What? The truth? Yeah, that picture you have? You want to know the truth? Yeah. The guy in the picture? The stranger leans forward, paying attention, their confident smile still in place. What about him? That photo right there is, Stalin. He now goes by the name Dr. Starseed. Star as in the red star, and seed as in the proletarian agriculture class. I give a laugh, leaning back in my chair. Oh, how he had you fooled, Aunt Lissa. He's been infecting you with commie moon radiation for the last, how many years now? 3. And poor Hunter, whose brain is probably so scrambled by the commie waves. Soon he will change his name to Gatherer. Oh my god, what have I done? It doesn't feel good to lie to Aunt Lissa like this. Just kidding! It totally does. But I do have a solution, if you're willing to pay the price, that is. Of course! How much? Just bring a checkbook. Oh, okay, great! Dr. Starseed only accepted cash. I look over at the stranger, satisfied at stealing their business. I give a little wink. I expected the stranger to be more upset, but they seem almost impressed. Speaking of the useless drains of society, what does Landon get? Landon looks up at his phone for the first time in what felt like hours, and skipping right along, and I'm gonna tell Landon the truth. I lean back in my chair, eyeing Landon directly. Well, Landon, you are a fraud. And honestly, I don't think you can aspire to anything better than a fraud. Your ideas are stale, and you're lazy. Dad was obviously disappointed having such a failure for a son. I am not. I have the foot... Oh, what? The foot fanatics? I laugh. Do you really think they care about business advice? Do I really have to say it? Those people are foot fetishists. A look of surprise and then recognition sweeps across Landon's face. Oh, that explains a lot. If it actually took you this long to figure that out, you're even stupider than I thought. Landon quietly stares, his shoulders hunch, depressed at the cold, hot truth. You should be glad Dad gave you anything at all. God knows you will still find a way to squander it. Well, now that that's taken care of, let's get this over with then. Yes, let's keep carrying forward. Time's a-wasting. Now that the beautiful house has been passed to my brother, skipping right along. Boo! What a snooze fest. Like I'm not reading all that, you know? Sorry it happened or happy for you. Don't care. In the ground either way. If I wanted to hear him yap, I'd get a Ouija board. I turn towards Landon. More like Ouija board, am I right? I think this was kind of important to your dad. Yeah, so was breathing, and he's not doing much of that anymore. Up top! I raise my high five towards the executor. He reaches a trembling hand slowly towards mine. Oh, with the paper now exposed, I easily slip my hand past his slapping the papers out of his grip, sending them flying across the table. Show me the money! Hand shaking, the executor grabs the last remaining paper. Okay, right. To my beloved child Lion, I hereby bequeath you the beachfront property. Come on, beachfront property! Skipping right on ahead. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I was saying something along the lines of, I'm not letting you take what Dad left me like this. Is what a virgin would say. I stand up, stretching out my back a bit. Well, it's been real, but this cock has sprung the coop. I head towards the door. I grab the door handle hesitantly, remembering one last thing I forgot to say. I turn towards my ex-family, solemnly. I just want you to know how I feel about each of you. Broke! Forgettable! Delusional! Me? Failure! What in the world? Junkie! The child, what? I turn towards the stranger. And you. The stranger rises to meet me. Reach into my pocket or their pocket? Does this matter? Doesn't matter at all. I'm gonna make a save right here. I reach into their pocket. I reach my hand forward. Oh, I think you got something there. I swing my hand around, palm swiftly making contact with the stranger's ass. The sound of the slap echoes in the deadly quiet room. For good measure, I give the stranger's ass a firm squeeze. I lean in close, taking in their disgusting scent. Good luck, Hellcat. They're your problem now. I walk towards the door of the silent office, the stranger's car keys around my finger, happy with my new ride. Later, boners! I leave the office without a name and without a family. But those things just weigh you down. From now on, I can be whoever I want to get whatever I want. Because a certain stranger taught me, the best way to get whatever you want in this world is just to take it. I don't know how to feel about this. Okay, so right now we're gonna get the Saw ending. And for this, like, when he asked what industry you're supposed to say, civil engineer. Okay, skipping right along. And for hobby, it should be building traps. And I don't know which one of my decisions are gonna matter. I'm just gonna skip right along until we actually get to the ending of this. So yeah. Okay, something I should note about this ending. You need to survive the bathroom encounter. So do not get max, approval points before you actually head into the bathroom, or else you won't be able to get this ending. As the stranger reaches forward towards their pen, I grab their wrist. So you think you deserve the inheritance? What in the world? Hello? What are you doing here? Hi? Well, what's this guy doing here? Oh, great. This guy again. Let's play a game. What the heck? Alright, so right now we're gonna go with the murder mystery ending. And for this, like, in industry, you're supposed to put in detective. And as for hobby, you should put it about, like, investigate or mystery or something along the lines of that. So, yeah. Of course, he was one of the best at investigating. God damn, the grammar's gonna be horrible after this. Alright, so again, you have to make sure you survive the bathroom encounter. I walk back into the room. Something seems wrong, but I can't place what the heck? My family talk amongst themselves. A bright color draws my attention. What in the world? Hello? Who is that? Whoa, that must have been a rough phone call. And I thought my dad was bad. A body has been discovered. What the heck? After a certain amount of time, which you may use however you'd like, the inheritance trial will begin. What does he mean by trial? Don't tell me it's one of those. The stranger starts to look around the room. I find that stupid little puppet. I'm gonna punt it through the window. I appreciate my life, okay? Wait, there's something written here. Wow, how did I not recognize such a strong pink aura? Aunt Lisa, that's his blood. No, I think I know these things. Oh, I recognize these numbers. This is the platoon number of the famous general of the Battle of Little Big Hornhead. General Hawthorne Willoughby. And that pose. I know I've seen it before in my hot yoga class. Whoa, check out those kicks. I didn't know he was a man of style. Our relatives excitedly start to clamor around the room for clues. I just can't deal with this. I slowly back up to the door and exit. That was a Danganronpa reference, wasn't it? Alright, so right now we're gonna go with another one of bad endings, and for this you gotta make sure that your approval points are 0. I burst through the doors of the restroom. They whistle happily, preening themselves in the mirror. They see me in the reflection. The stranger doesn't even bother turning towards me, laughing instead. Oh, if it isn't Lion. Or I suppose to say, that was your name. Before it was my name. They do a loud performative laugh as I begin to shake with anger. In the golden light of the restroom, I have the grim realization that this person could actually take over my life. I lose my composure. Your hair is too gelled. I stoop. And you stink of at least 3 different cologne. The stranger stands unfazed, looking down with a condescending grin. My anger only rises. Your suit doesn't even fit. And I don't know who your orthodontist is, but he did a bad job of those veneers. I shake with anger as the stranger continues to pat their hair and confidently laughs. Everything about you is cheap. Everything about you is fake. And I'm still a better version of you. Your family clearly agrees. The stranger takes a moment to look at me through the reflection of the mirror. The stranger's smile twists into a cruel grin. And if Lloyd was here, he would too. I snap. I rush towards the awful, slimy stranger. My vision turns, and before I can stop myself, my hands are wrapped around their neck. I push them to the ground, my body straddling their torso. I tighten my grip around their neck until they can barely get a squeak out. The look of surprise on the stranger's face turns into a content smile. Is this guy mocking me? What does the stranger know that I don't? I squeeze tighter. The stranger's face turns a sickly purple. This is it! They mumble something I can't quite understand. Don't tell me you're into this! Let's hear what this guy has to say for themselves now. I lean in as the stranger continues to mumble. This is it! This is finally it! I pull my face back, look into their eyes. I can see nothing but love. This is how I've always wanted to go! With a flash of horror, I realize what's happening. Before I can pull my hands back, the stranger grabs me by the wrist, forcing me to continue. With a final satisfied groan, the light behind their eyes dim, and they leave this life with a grin on their face. I get up and stare down at their There's a splotch on his pants! Ew! Say what you will about the stranger, but they died as they lived. drunk on pleasure at someone else's expense. I hated that. Okay, so this is another ending. You gotta make sure you have 3 approval points. I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but I walk in. Our eyes meet. The stranger confidently leans on the counter. Gotta say, Hellcat, didn't think you had it in you. Wasn't expecting this much fuego. The stranger hisses at me. I freeze, unsure how to take the gesture. Believe it or not, this isn't my first rodeo. Oh, I believe it. But I've never had such a fine opponent. The stranger eyes me hungrily. I don't like where this is going. This isn't a game to me. Say you win. What would you do with the money? Well, I'll tell you what I'd do with the money. The stranger pushes themselves off the counter, taking a step towards me. I back up a little out of instinct, but try to hold my ground. I'd like to get a little bungalow on the beach, full package. They circle me, pausing at my side, their intentions clear in their eyes. For 2. That sounds really nice, but... The stranger takes a step forward, closing the distance between us. Oh, it will be. What the hell are you doing? The stranger whispers, their eyes examining my face as they close in. The only thing I can focus on is the sting in my eyes as their cologne assaults my senses. Well, looks like we're both getting lucky today. The stranger's eyes flicker shut. Oh my god, are they leaning in for a kiss? I flinch back. I flinch backward, my head hitting the door. The stranger snaps out of their stupor. Oh! The stranger looks at me, awkwardness settling in their expression. You aren't there yet, huh? Okay, well then. I'll get you back out there, Hellcat. They grab the door handle, attempting to scuttle out the door, pushing me out of the way in the process. May the best lion win. The stranger laughs awkwardly, slamming the door on their way out. I hear hurried steps, fast walking away. I stand there for a minute, trying to absorb what just happened. I hear a creak and see a restroom stall open slowly. Landon carefully emerges, wide-eyed staring at me. He throws me an occasional glance as he makes his way to the sink. That wasn't what it looked like! Landon nods, clearly not understanding. No worries, Seb. I'm an open-minded guy. I mean, I'm as much a Carl fan as the next guy. Landon gives an exhale. With that, guess I still got some growing to do. Landon goes to leave the restroom, pausing in front of me with a look of sympathy. Whatever makes you happy, Seb. He leaves the restroom in an awkward silence. I need a shower. Well, I walk into the office, my family already deep in conversation. Damn. Okay, so that was that. What happens if I push them back instead? I place my hands on the stranger's chest. Before I can push the stranger back, they grab my wrist, eyeing me seductively. Whoa there, Hellcat. Couldn't wait to get a handful, could you? They wink down at me confidently. I can feel the squeak of their silk shirt rubbing against their wet, sweaty chest. Let's save it for the beach, shall we? I can control myself if you can. The stranger places my hand back at my side. Ta-ta now. They sling through the door, as confident as ever, blowing a kiss to me right as they walk out. I stand there for a minute trying to absorb what just happened. Well, I might as well show you all how to get married to this man if that's what you want. For that, when he asks you what your dad's hobby is, you're supposed to answer it with this word, or you can replace DI with FU. So like, I'm just gonna go for it. The stranger's face drops in surprise. He then bursts out laughing. Oh, now we're talking. I think we're going to get along just fine, Lion. The sun glimmers through the stained glass windows in the chapel. I can hear the toll of wedding bells. What a week it's been. That day, instead of taking part in my father's will reading, I walked out of that building, hand in hand with a beautiful stranger. Oh, Lion, are you ready yet? I steel my nerves and walk out of the room. I begin my walk down the aisle. Music swells. My family looks on with love and a little confusion, but mostly love. The bridal march plays and I see him, as beautiful as he was when I met him a week ago. I fight back tears as he takes his place beside me at the altar. His best man, Orion, sprinkles love elixir down the aisle to ward off 6G and promise a happy matrimony. Soon, Landon takes the altar as the officiant. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the wedding. We're here today to join Lion and, Redacted? Is that his name? And, like, holy matrimony, so let's get this party started! Landon laughs, but the audience remains silent. We join these guys in, Finally, the ring bearer, my father's dog, has reached the aisle. It slowly moves forward, ring attached to collar with a mess of patchy limbs. Only stopping when overcome with tremors that shakes his frail little body. Near the end of the aisle, it stops to sniff the love elixir splatter on the ground, licking some of it up. Ah, God damn it! Not for ingestion or internal application. Everyone looks at each other, unsure of what to do. Yoink! Unfazed, my fiancé snatches the ring off the poor dog's body, making rock back and forth in place. Proceed if you will, my good man. The stranger motions for Landon to continue. Well, not gonna lie, I kinda skimmed this part, but I think you get it. I pronounce you married or whatever this is. Well, good enough for me. The stranger slips the ring on my finger, and in the same movement, leans in for a quick kiss. After which he pulls me along, back down the aisle, seemingly eager to be done with the formalities. To the beach bungalow we go! I can't say it will be an easy life, or a particularly moral one, but I'll always be thankful that my dad died, causing me to meet the love of my life. Other people may not understand our marriage or how we will make it work, but hey, stranger things have happened. Anyway, that monstrosity was Relative Strangers. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, link to the game will be in the description below. I don't know how to feel about this. This was such a weird experience. Like, oh my god, I hated every moment of it, but you know what? In a good way. In a good way. I know that it's meant to make you cringe. I know it's meant to, like, make you hate everything in life, but you know what? I respect that. I respect that. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. And, as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.